Hello everyone, my name is author Owen Wills, and today I'll be reading the Mayday Series, Episode 1, from the My College Desires ASNAT storyline. I present to you Dissertation, Part 1. Episode 1. On June 4th, 2017, Imani Garcia's already stressful circumstances became even more acute. During what everyone considered the first Mayday event, the nanomaterials she'd been asked to study by the Air Force changed before her eyes into something of what she considered to be akin to alive. Relatively a short time after witnessing this, the ultra-top secret facility she had called home for a little over a year had been attacked by something sinister. All around her, people were dying in the most gruesome ways imaginable, screaming in agony while melting right before her eyes, with some even taking hold of her arms or legs, pleading out loud that they wanted to keep their lives. In the chaos, an authoritative figure dressed in full Lilith Corps standard battle armor and armed with a Lilith Corps standard rifle shoved her into a lab filled with the dead and dying. "Find out what the fuck is in their bodies," Imani heard the woman command before turning, raising her weapon and walking out the blast-resistant doors, sealing it shut behind her. With shaky hands, Imani put samples of blood under powerful microscopes and stood stunned, staring at the results. What Imani saw consuming cell after cell was the prototype nanomaterial she had first made for a PhD dissertation. However, it had been enhanced 1,000 times fold. It had taken me years. I chose to work with something easier before I dug myself too deep. But these are my markings. But how? And why? Am I being framed? She asked herself out loud. As she began to think of the possibilities, she heard a thud come from the blast-resistant doors of the lab, causing her to look. Fuck, are they trying to cut through? She thought, seeing steam rolling off the doors. But that thought quickly changed when she saw the steam forming into tendrils that rushed out at high speeds, slamming into the last of the survivors. Ah, she heard some of them scream in agony, watching as their already destroyed bodies turned fully into red and oily yellow fluid. Realizing that that would also be her fate, she grit her teeth and stared directly at a tendril of white fog rushing towards her at ever-increasing speed. A few seconds later, and she felt it slam into her chest. From the moment it made contact, she felt pain like she'd never felt before travel throughout her entire body. And then, for a time, she knew nothing more. Mayday, 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 if you are... Mayday, 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 if you are hearing this message, know all hope is lost, Imani heard, awakening to the sound of the phenomenon with blurry vision. I survived? How, she wondered, feeling aching pain throughout her entire body, much more severely in her joints and neck than anywhere else. Well, hello there. Good to see you're back, she heard a woman say in a warm voice, seeing a blurry light brown skinned figure appear. Oh, hi, Imani whispered, slowly turning her head to her left and right as her eyes adjusted, seeing that she was in a large triage area filled with hundreds of occupied beds set up in the enormous hangar bay of the Lilith Corp facility. Mayday, 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 if you are hearing this message, all hope is lost. Mayday, 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 Imani heard again, this time in a voice that was clearly female, which was unlike any of the times she'd heard the phenomenon before, as previously the voices never gave off any tone that registered in her mind as male or female. What was that? Imani thought, feeling strength in her body return at a rate she knew should not be possible, with her strength dissipating the moment the phenomenon ended. So I'm going to ask you a ridiculous question, Imani. How do you feel? Imani heard the woman ask, stepping closer, giving her a wide, genuinely caring smile. I feel... Imani began as she studied the woman's strong Israeli features with long, curly black hair and hazel green eyes. Like crap. But just now, during that, whatever that voice is, I started feeling better. And then when it stopped, back to horrible, she whispered. I see, she heard the woman reply, nodding her head with the same smile. Have others said this to you as well? And how long have I been out? She asked, trying to speak louder, hearing her voice crack and squeak as she did. I've heard some say this, and others say they felt more drained. And you've been out for a week, she heard the woman respond as she pressed on a basketball-sized crystal ball that rests on a mounted structure at the foot of her bed. How am I looking on that monitoring device? She asked, feeling nervous as the woman stared intently at the device. Like you need rest, she heard the woman reply as she tapped on the device with a flurry of hand movements. Afterwards, Imani heard the device play a soft, rhythmic hum as small tendrils of clear crystal wires grew from it. Once they touched the bedsheet, she watched them penetrate, then felt the lightest of light touches entering her body. Hey, did you just do something to put me to sleep? I feel really sleepy. Wait, tell me more. What's going on? Imani asked, feeling her eyelids growing heavy. We're all in quarantine because of the nanites that attacked us. We're going to get you full strength, and then we're going to need your help. Those nanites have your name all over it, but we know you did not do this. So rest up, because we're going to be relying on you to tell us what this person did with your work. Because as of now, those who would understand are dead or wounded way worse than you are. Even if they were okay, we would want you to be the lead on this, she heard the woman reply. I can't believe someone would do this from my work. I can't believe my dissertation led to this. I would have never, she whispered, feeling a surge of adrenaline as she thought about her work being used for such horror. Mayday, 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 Imani heard, feeling all the aches in her body disappear. And her fight and flight reflexes about her work being used to kill people somehow was soothed, causing the medicine and rhythmic pulses to take effect, instantly sending her to sleep. Almost 1 year prior to that date, May 4th, 2016, Imani stepped out of the luxurious van that had picked her up from an even more luxurious airplane, the outside of which had been a C-130, but with the inner decor and lavishness of a multi-millionaire. As requested by the Air Force escorts who had picked her up from her college campus, she had come with absolutely nothing but the clothes she had on, which was a skin-tight, mid-thigh cut baby blue with black flower patterned summer dress and black lace sandals. Standing in front of a gray cargo container, she saw a short, thin, silver-haired, pale-skinned three-star general that looked to be in her mid-60s. She was dressed in standard Air Force battle dress uniform, and on her name tag it read 3-star instead of her surname. Ma'am, she said, walking up to the general, of which she was slightly taller than, staring at the name tag curiously. Hi, Imani. I wanted to meet you in person, since I'm the one who requested you come here. This is a big step, you being here. I'll try my best to help you with adjustments. Ma'am, what's going on? I was told not to even bring ID or the bags I packed. I feel like I'm being kidnapped by the Air Force. And I mean it when I say that. When those escorts came, I felt like something bad was going to happen to me if I said no. I literally just got your email the day before yesterday. Is it reasonable to kind of push me into this so fast, whatever this is? Why have I been asked to come here? Imani asked, feeling her heart pound in her chest when she thought of how she felt when she received the request to come to Ellsworth Air Force Base. And how she felt about herself caving into the pressure when the escorts arrived to pick her up. Thinking, I replied I was tentatively interested. And then they just showed up and they pressed me, but kind of without pressing me. And I can't find where I should have said no. I feel weak. Imani, you said tentative on your response, but you packed immediately. What? How did you know that? Your roommate told us. Excuse me? Excuse me. What do you mean my roommate told you? Your roommate your roommate told our reps. Reps? Reps as in like you mean spies? Sounds like spies, she said, way louder than she had wanted to, feeling even more trapped than she did before. Look, we profile people, so that takes eyes, she heard the general say in a dry tone. I don't appreciate. I think I want out of here. Yeah, no, I don't want to be here. Imani, give this a chance. I know that you feel stagnant in school and that you feel stagnant in life. No one packs their bags that fast on a tentative. I took notice that you're struggling working on your dissertation, and I know a lot of your struggle has nothing to do with your brains and everything to do with the equipment your school provides, as well as your peers, your professors not being able to keep up with you. You need and you deserve better so you can really achieve your dreams. What you're planning for your dissertation is brilliant and needs support. Nanomaterials to actively eliminate addictive drugs and toxic substances in the human body? Just whoa. Also, we need help with nanomaterial projects we're working on here. I want you to work on those too. I want you to dive as deep as you want in the nanotechnology field. The exposure to others' works will help you with your own, and you'll have an amazing dissertation by the end. This is a lot. This is a lot, Imani began, when the general raised her hand. It is a lot. So work hard. I'm asking you to give yourself the best chance you've ever had at exploring and achieving your maximum potential, Imani heard the general say. Imani stood there and she studied the general and searched her deepest desires, reflecting on when she had gotten the email request and when the escorts had come, and realized that as nervous and freaked out as she had indeed not been forced and had wanted to explore the opportunity offered. This honestly sounds amazing. It's just the way this is happening feels off. Look at where we are. We're on the opposite side of the base, on an unused part of the flight line, next to a forest, and here's this random cargo container. And I have nothing on me. No ID, no bags, it's just weird. Your BDUs, you don't have a surname on your BDUs, just a call sign. Admit it, this looks like a kidnapping. Imani, we picked you up in the most expensive limousine in Texas. We flew you out on a covert but an expensive jet. And we picked you up in a van that famous superstars tour around the country in. This is not snatching you up during your walk from your favorite midnight fish fry place. You walk the streets alone. 20-minute walk there in the dark, 20-minute back to your campus. We didn't kidnap you then. You guys really were spying on me. Please get my point, Imani. I get your point, she replied, feeling at ease in one way, but still very odd in another. Look, you'll find out everything when you go in there. I have to go. I'll see you in a day or so after you've had some indoc, Imani heard the general say while backing away. Not knowing what else to say, Imani head nodded a yes as a reply, feeling butterflies of anticipation erupt in the base of her belly right after. Good, she heard the general respond with a small head nod of her own, accompanied with a kind of sarcastic smile. The general then about-faced and walked towards a futuristic all-black SUV that had just pulled up seemingly out of nowhere, as Imani had not heard or really seen it arrive. After it full stopped, the general hopped in the back, and then it peeled off, yet it still made no sound. Yeah, this is too fucking weird. All of this, Imani thought, feeling heat that had nothing to do with the blazing sun overhead. Now seeing the SUV pick up even more speed. Then she watched it travel down the lonely road next to the flight line, and then all of a sudden it vanished in plain sight. What the fuck, Imani thought. Weird. Ma'am! Imani heard someone call from behind, causing her to turn and see a short, brown-skinned Filipino woman in Air Force BDUs with an odd-looking rifle around her that did not seem to have a cord. Yeah, this is just weird. Just give me a second, she replied, turning back around, inhaling deeply, just trying to enjoy the warm spring air flowing around her summer dress. No problem, but I just figured you'd want to see what's really going on. Don't you want to see the real base? She heard the woman say with an accent she knew was from North Philippines. Because since childhood, she'd been base hopping from naval base to naval base with her parents. Actually, you know what? I do, she replied, quickly turning around, walking to the cut-in door in the center of the cargo container, of which the guard had held open. Stepping through, Imani saw what looked to be black glass forming a semicircle in front of her. Huh? She mumbled, looking around the tiny space that could only fit about 4 people. The entire place was odd and did not look like the internals of a cargo container like she expected. The ground was matte black and felt spongy on her feet through her thin black lace sandals. Behind her, she saw a dark, supposed piece of glass slide shut and felt the area pressurize. The area felt dark but well lit at the same time, and looking above, she saw the same black glass-like structure with no cutout for a light fixture. Place your hand on here, please, candidate select, Imani heard the woman whose name tag read guard say, pointing and turning, then placing her hand on the dark black glass-like material. This place is weird. And what do you mean by candidate select, she replied, stepping up beside the woman, lifting her hand but hesitating to touch the material. Yes, it is very weird. Example, what color do you see? She heard the woman ask her, turning towards her with an awkward smirk. She looks exhausted and smells like cigarettes and sweat, Imani thought, fully registering the puffy bags through the woman's well-done makeup and eyeshadow. I see black everything, and I don't see where light is coming from, she replied, seeing the woman's face turn from darkly humorous to very serious. Well, I see green. Green floor, green ceiling, green everything, Imani heard the woman reply after a few awkward seconds of silence. Green? Yes, green, she heard the woman reply, sounding annoyed, then tipping her chin, indicating she wanted her to do as she had instructed. Right. Touch the wall, Imani whispered, placing a hand on what she thought was glass, only to feel the texture of something akin to wet sand. In front of her, the material seemed to crumble, and in seconds there was an almost perfect hexagonal shape that left an opening a tad wider than her body, and just a tad above her height of 5'2". The opening itself was slanted about 6 feet downwards, at about a 45-degree angle, and at the bottom she could see a space with a red ring in the center of an all-black floor. Behind the ring she could see 2 women with what looked to be body armor with the company logo of Lilith Corp, which was an angry female vampire, bearing fangs, claws, and wings spread. It was all etched on most of the upper breastplate of the body armor. Strung over their shoulders, or what seemed to be strung over their shoulders, and held in a ready position, Imani saw what looked to be about the same rifle as the Air Force woman. Please go. I get tired of this same old surprise. I have an ebook I want to read, she heard the woman next to her say. Well, this is new to me, okay? She snapped, lowering her hand as she turned to glare at the Air Force woman. who was a little bit looking like she wanted to fight her at the time. Look, none of this will be new for long. Then you'll get bored like everyone else. We always want more, even when we see something amazing. We always want more. And sometimes it costs more to want more, she heard the woman say, now giving her a heavy sigh, and the fight looked like it was out of her. Cost more? Ah, maybe maybe she's having family issues. Her eyes remind me of my parents, those sad, detached eyes. The eyes of someone always on deployment or out to sea, having to go to some other duty station. Yeah, and it finally ripped them apart and they got a divorce. Imani thought, head nodding the woman, then stepping through the opening. The moment she stepped through that opening and the passageway closed behind her, shaking her head in surprise and wonder, she walked till she was in the center of the red circle, then looked up at the two stone-faced women who stared back at her. Candidate select, Imani. You are now entering a Lilith Corp base in the country of Israel. You will now be governed by the laws and chain of command of Israel, Lilith Corp, and the United States Air Force. You will have access to some of the most secret and sensitive information known to humanity in this current era. If you leak it to your family, friends, or peers, the punishment is immediate life imprisonment. Meaning you should consider giving a very, very, very watered down dissertation of what you will learn here should you accept the offer of entrance. Is this clear, candidate select Imani? Imani heard the woman to her right with dark black hair and a sharp nose say. As the woman had spoken, Imani had felt her palms sweat, stomach bubble, heart pound, blood pulse in her tongue, and her chest squeezing in pain like she was about to have a heart attack. Life imprisonment if I speak of secrets? This is already a huge secret. I ain't never seen or heard of no shit like this. If I say no, I can't turn back and act like I didn't see this. If I say no, I can't say no, can I? I'd be locked away forever for just seeing what I've seen already, won't I? She asked, feeling her stomach bubble and twist even more at the women's faces, which seemed to grow even more remorseless at her question. No, but we will blackball you for the rest of your life, and all the hard work you've done in school will be for absolutely nothing. You'll be a waitress, or stockwoman, or something like that forever. What do you think? You'd most likely be happy, though. You'll be able to have a family and all that. If you say yes right now, we're almost certain you won't be happy for long. That's for sure. This place and this life will swallow you whole. It always swallows everyone involved whole. So make your choice. Mundane work life, most likely with very little money, unless you marry someone rich. But happiness, or you get a wealth of knowledge, funds, mystery, and then pure misery, in which you won't be able to escape. Imani now heard the woman to her left with blonde hair and slightly softer facial features say, tilting her head in an odd mechanical way towards where she'd come from, in her mind saying, you should go back. Are they being for real? Or is this a test of my resolve? Do they have the power to? Yes, of course they have the power to do what they're saying. Swallow me whole. What if I take a look and don't like it? Could I back out and then they don't blackball me or arrest me, she thought, seeing both women who were about equal height of 4 inches taller than her now displaying small smirks, causing her to feel like they could hear her thoughts. So, what if I don't like it? What if I don't like what I see and I want to back out? Then would you guys blackball me? Would I go to jail forever if I see more of something? Well, after you accept entrance, you'd be free to come and go as you please. However, From doing this for a long time, I will warn you that once you see what you see, you'll never back out of this life. But only having a big mouth of what you see will get you locked away forever. But here's the thing, not talking about what you're going to see is going to be impossible. It will be your very first big problem. And it's how this life will start to swallow you whole. Not wanting to risk slipping up, you'll cut off your peers, your friends, your family. You'll be reduced to just having the most basic conversations with your parents. And you'll dodge every get together. And then soon, those conversations will probably end because you're going to want to dodge them and you don't want to feel guilty. We see this a lot. Fuck these bitches. Oh, fuck what they think of me. I've always been the queen of giving very little information to people in the first place. This is no problem for me at all. I've got this, she thought, feeling her resolve as the blonde-haired woman had spoke. I accept. It's one thing if I'm being forced to go in or get locked up. It's another if it's all on me to keep my mouth shut, she replied. To Imani's immediate surprise, both women's cold and slightly demeaning faces turned sad, and the dark-haired woman, who she thought looked meaner by default, shook her head as if to say wrong choice. She then noticed she was sinking away from them and looked down to see the circle she was in was some kind of elevator. Within seconds, they were fully out of sight, and just as a slight claustrophobia of going down an oddly lit tiny tube that was only, just a little bit bigger than she was, set in, she was entering an opening. Then the elevator stopped, leaving her staring at another pair of women. One was brown-skinned and had Mexican features that reminded her of her own. She was dressed in Air Force BDUs and armed with what she considered the same rifle as the others above, and one was a Lilith Corp woman who looked Israeli and was in the same body armor as the Lilith guards above, but armed with another odd-looking, slightly bulkier and curved-like rifle. Behind them, there was something that reminded her of the Hyperloop tube cab. Welcome. This hub will take you to the main base that has a lot of the labs you'll be working in, and can take you to a lot of other places as well. Come on, we'll show you around. Then we'll send you to explore on your own and mingle with your peers or whoever. Just don't try to get too chatty with the guards while they're on shift. We're here to try and keep you people alive, not listen to your rambling when your peers are too busy or selfish to listen. Is that clear? Imani heard the Air Force woman say to her. Imani began, when the Air Force woman raised her hand and indicated for her to stop talking, then pointed to the vehicle, meaning get on now. Blinking, she looked at the Lilith Corp guard who had short, black, curly hair, cute freckles, and was currently and had been all smiles from the moment the elevator had landed. Are you really just going to stand there and stare at us? Damn, I hate new candidate duties. Why the hell do you always volunteer for this so much? Imani heard the Air Force guard say to the Lilith Corp guard. Because I take bets on when their excitement will turn to misery, and I always win, she heard the woman reply, smiling brighter. Am I really making a mistake? Why are they so certain of everyone's misery? Fuck, I'm scared. But fuck, I want to know what the hell I've been asked to come here for. Curiosity is really going to kill this cat, Imani thought, walking past the woman, stepping into the vehicle, flopping into the closest seat, not even bothering to look around inside as she was too preoccupied with searching her thoughts, wondering if she would have changed her mind at any point in time. Hi, that's all for episode 1. I did my best to read my own writing. This is author Owen Wills. Please like and subscribe. This is a part of I would call it realm connector story. So what I mean by realm connecting stories is I already published my College Desires as NAD Book 1, and I published my Gym Desires as NAD Book 2. And when the Mayday series will connect those series, like book 2, 3, 4, and it will connect through all my series, like as I said in the introduction of Mayday. It will be taking stories from a lot of people's perspectives during these events, and it will bring you through their little journey of how they started to experience those. And in this particular story, it plugs into pretty much the ending of ERTA The Complete Series. So I will be doing the Mayday series for free on YouTube, but I will be compiling them and making them ebooks. And if they're big enough, then I'll make a paper book. So when those come out, you can purchase those. I'm an indie author, so I'm doing my best to spread my name out there. So please help, like, share, subscribe, pick up my full series on Amazon, Smashwords at your local bookstore. All the help is needed. I need help, and I will be doing my best. I will see you on episode 2 for the continuing adventures of Imani in the Little Court base. I would love some feedback too in the comments below, and thank you so much for your time.